Welcome back to The Explainer.
Okay,
Today, we're
let's
diving
jump right into this. Just listen to this pitch for a second. Learn the art of selling in 10 minutes, apply online today, and get money tomorrow. You know the ones, right? We've all seen variations of these absurd get-rich-quick promises. They pop up constantly, usually featuring some guy standing in front of a rented sports car or maybe typing on a laptop on a beach, promising you that you can master the immensely complex world of sales and marketing in, the time it takes to drink a cup of coffee? It sounds fantastic, but the source material for today's explainer demands that we look critically at what these promises are actually selling us.
Moving on to the next piece of the puzzle, targeting African youth and diverting from the path. There's a genuinely dangerous shift occurring right now. We are seeing African youth moving their focus away from structured academic learning paths and sliding directly toward these unrealistic shortcuts. Just imagine the immense potential of this generation. That's a potential that is typically honed through rigorous study, critical thinking, and structured education. But instead of building those enduring, rock-solid skills, brilliant young minds are being derailed by this totally false promise that if they just buy a quick online course, they can skip all the hard work and instantly generate wealth. It's literally a diversion from the kind of path that builds real economies, redirecting them straight into a funnel of false hopes.
To our next section, tools versus true strategy, and what the shortcuts actually leave
What's really
out.
fascinating here is what happens when we test these shortcuts out in the real world. The contrast is just stark. The shortcut culture offers literally nothing more than a superficial grasp of digital tools. But in total contrast, a true academic approach provides the heavy-hitting substance that those shortcuts completely ignore. We're talking strategy, psychology, and economic impact. You just cannot condense those kinds of foundational concepts into a 10-minute video or weekend crash course. It just doesn't work that way.
A genuine academic approach is really built on 3 core pillars. First up, underlying strategy. This is your roadmap. It's about understanding not just how to run an ad, but actually why you're running it, who exactly you're targeting, and how it fits into a much larger business goal. Second, we have consumer psychology. You can't just throw digital tools at people. You have to understand the human mind, what drives behavior, what builds trust, and why people actually make purchasing decisions. And third, economic impact. Meaning, you need to understand how your marketing efforts ripple through an entire market, how they affect supply and demand, and how they truly impact a business's bottom line. Shortcut culture completely ignores all 3 of these pillars, leaving its students fundamentally
Let's move
hollow.
into our final section, the hidden curriculum revealed, also known as the big lie. Our source material absolutely does not mince words here. They state, and I quote, "This is a lie or a hidden curriculum of our time." Let that sink in. These online promises aren't just slightly bad courses or, poorly designed tutorials. They represent a massive fundamental misdirection. By promising instant wealth and letting people bypass the hard, necessary work of academic learning, this shortcut culture operates as a deliberate lie being sold to incredibly vulnerable learners, especially youth, who are just eager to improve their lives. This hidden curriculum teaches them to rely on cheap, temporary hacks instead of actually helping them build genuine, marketable expertise.
All of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to think about. Are you falling for the hidden curriculum, or are you building a true foundation? Look, the next time you see an ad promising to teach you the art of selling in 10 flat minutes, just remember the reality of the shortcut culture. True mastery of digital marketing, of consumer psychology, and of economic strategy, it absolutely requires the depth of a structured academic approach. Don't let the shortcut culture rob you of the deep understanding you need to actually succeed. Demand real substance, invest in true strategy, and build a foundation that's actually going to last. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. We'll see you next time.
So that brings us to our first section, the shortcut culture myth, selling tools, not truths. What we really need to do here is understand exactly what this culture looks like in practice. Shortcut culture is basically a learning environment that leaves students with a completely superficial grasp of digital tools, rather than any sort of deep understanding. And think about the dangerous distinction there. These heavily marketed courses, they might teach you how to navigate a software dashboard or, schedule a post. But just clicking buttons isn't marketing. That's just operating a tool. This whole shortcut culture completely strips away the strategic foundation of why those tools even exist in the first place, which ultimately leaves learners woefully unprepared for actual real-world business challenges.